I'm going to overview the basics of applying for asylum in the United States. What is asylum? Asylum is a form of international protection from persecution. To apply for asylum in the United States, you must be physically present in the country or be seeking entry into the United States at the port of entry, for example, at the border. By law, an asylum seeker is someone who is outside their country of origin and who is unwilling or unable to return to or seek protection from home country because of past persecution and or well-founded fear of future persecution on account of either race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership in a particular social group. What is past persecution or well-founded fear of future persecution? It means that your government is persecutor or cannot or will not control people who persecute you. Persecution itself is an infliction or credible threat of serious harm or suffering, which can be physical or mental. The examples of persecution include receiving threats of death, experiencing violent conduct or physical abuse, experiencing detention, arrest, interrogation, prosecution, imprisonment, surveillance, threats, or torture, experiencing domestic violence, experiencing economic persecution, for example, no access to employment or property ownership, and so on, or experiencing psychological harm. Some things do not qualify as persecution under asylum law. For example, general country conditions such as generalized violence, such as war, or generalized crime, general poverty or economic instability in the country, or economic argument between private parties, these are not qualifying grounds for asylum or persecution under the law. So what are protected grounds or reasons for asylum in more detail? It can be persecution based on your race, your religion, your nationality, your political opinion. And this political opinion can be actual or suspected and is non-traditional for that country. For example, it's membership or support of opposition political party, belief in women's rights, feminism, belief in children's rights, belief in the rights of any group of people, campaigning against a violent group, pro-labor activities, or whistleblowing. Another reason for asylum is a membership in a particular social group. Examples can include a membership in LGBT+ community or being a child soldier and many other groups. These are just examples. In general, you cannot apply for asylum if you did not follow the 1-year filing deadline and did not file your Form 1589 within 1 year of your last arrival in the United States. There are some exceptions that we'll describe in a minute. Also, if you had a previous asylum application denied by an immigration judge or a board of immigration appeals, or if you can be removed to a safe third country under a two-party or multi-party agreement between the United States and other countries. Going back to 1-year deadline. In general, the law says you should apply for asylum within 1 year of arrival to the United States. But this 1-year deadline can be extended if, first, your circumstances changed materially in affecting your eligibility for asylum. For example, conditions of your home country changed, or something changed in your circumstances. For example, if you become involved in certain activities outside the country of fear for if you are dependent on another person's pending asylum application and you lost your spousal or parent-child relationship for that application. And second, extraordinary circumstances related to delay in filing application within the first year. For example, you were seriously ill, physically and mentally. You had a legal disability. You had ineffective legal assistance. You maintained some lawful status, for example, TPS, temporary protected status, or there was a technical error. Besides your application, you have to collect your supporting evidence. You have to write down your affidavit, your declaration, in other words, your story. You have to attach some documents showing the country conditions and news articles. But be aware that USCIS using the US Department of State reports on human rights conditions in your country of origin, so they have access to this. You're also advised to attach certain evidence on key aspects of your claim. For example, medical records from your country, witness statements, political party IDs, letters from religious institutions or other relevant organizations, expert affidavits, and medical and psychological evaluations. Please be sure that all documents are translated into English. Your story is the central part of your claim. You have to write it down in blocks. Start with the basic information regarding your place of birth and family configuration, and then describe specific incidents of persecution in chronological order. Each, for example, to include first a very short summary about what happened, then more details, what, when, who, and why, and how do you know. Begin the narrative several hours before the actual incident. When describing the assault itself, you use short and clear sentences. Conclude describing how did the incident finish, how did you escape, what was different after the incident. When applying for asylum, you have to mail the whole package to USCIS. There is no electronic application. Everything should go into large envelope addressed to the USCIS, and see exact address on the I-589 form instructions. Attach the filled out application for asylum, called Form I-589 Application for Asylum and for Withholding of Removal, 2 photographs, and any supporting evidence you're attaching. Please note there is no filing fee to send this application. You are not required to have a lawyer or attorney for the affirmative asylum application and interview, but having an attorney drastically increases your chances of positive decision. But be aware that there are limited free legal services and pro bono attorneys you can try to find. For example, there is a list of some pro bono legal service on RIF website. If you decide to contact pro bono legal providers, please check each organization website for general information, including their phone numbers, when to call, specific days and hours, and if they have an option to send an email instead. Check the eligibility criteria, what kind of cases they accept. Also, read about other services they provide beyond legal representation. Some websites also available in other languages beside English. Before you call a provider, make sure you have a list of things you have to say in your voice message. First, say your name, spell it by letters. Dictate your contact information, especially your phone number. State your country of origin, the date of your arrival to United States, month, date, and year. Describe your visa or entry status and expiration date. Say what borough or city you live in the United States now. What is your reason for your asylum claim? At the end, say that you are looking for legal representation to apply for asylum. Repeat your name and your contact information again. Please be aware that some organizations offer the option of sending an email message. If you send an email, include the same information as above. For yourself, make a list of every organization you contact, the date of your call or email, and any other notes and information. Follow these organizations on their social media accounts. Go to their website and sign up for their mailing lists to receive updates about their activities and services. And we'd like to share with you some final tips on psychological and mental self-care. Be prepared mentally of accepting that the whole process may take a few years. The process to understand the asylum procedure and finding an attorney is frustrating and confusing. During the intake calls and during conversations with attorneys, you will have to repeat your story of persecution over and over again. At the same time, you must attend to survival issues like housing and generating income. Please be aware there are little supports and resources available for asylum seekers in the United States. Asylum seekers have to rely on their social networks and home country networks, of course, if they are welcoming. Please seek social support and be aware that people can exploit your initial ignorance of the process and your vulnerability. But at the end, most asylum seekers do prevail and rebuild their professional and personal lives. Thank you. For more information, please check our website or email us, www.rifnyc.org or info@rifnyc.org. Thank you.